Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a fantastic day. My name is Kmart, and I want to talk about some basketball. And today, we're going to be talking about the play-in tournament, looking at the opening round matchups in the play-in bracket here, and I'm going to be giving my predictions and maybe a little bit of reasoning for why I'm picking each team in these first four matchups. So, gonna keep it pretty simple. We'll move right along here, starting with the Western Conference matchups. We'll start with the 7 versus 8 game. That is the New Orleans Pelicans versus the Los Angeles Lakers. And I am going to be picking the Lakers for this opening game. LA has won 3 of the 4 regular season matchups in this particular matchup, including a game just on Sunday on the final day of the season. So there's a little bit of recency bias there. The Lakers have scored at least 120 points in 3 of those 4 regular season matchups, which is kind of strange. When you look at the Pelicans defense, they are 6th in the league in defensive rating and 8th in points allowed, but all that kind of gets thrown out the window in the matchup against the Lakers specifically. They have not really been able to bring that defensive power to bear. So Lakers certainly have the advantage on that front. If you're looking at the Pelicans, though, to try and win this in terms of what they would need, 3 major things here. First, they need a big game from Zion Williamson. He's averaged 20.3 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 5.5 assists on 57.7 shooting from the field against the Lakers specifically this season. They're going to need him to obviously score more than that to take this game. They're going to need Brandon Ingram to be sort of healthy and contributing. He missed 12 straight games before playing in that season finale on Sunday, so that's at least somewhat encouraging for Pelicans fans, but they will need him at 100%. And if you're the Pelicans, you're going to need to shoot the 3. New Orleans is technically a better 3-point shooting team on paper than the Lakers, not by a whole lot, but if the Pelicans are going to lose the battle inside, if they're going to lose that sort of points in the paint battle like they did on Sunday, then you need something else to close that gap, and the outside shooting might just be that thing. If they can't do that, though, we might see a similar result to what we saw on Sunday, which is pretty much what I think is going to happen here. I think the Lakers take that opening game. Moving along to the next matchup, though, we've got the Kings versus the Warriors, the 9 versus 10. I am picking Golden State to take this one. The season series between the teams was split 2-2, and it should be noted 3 of those 4 games were decided by a single point. So these have been very close matchups between Golden State and Sacramento. They're 2 of the better 3-point shooting teams in the league, right? The Warriors are 2nd in 3-pointers made, 4th in attempts, 7th in 3-point percentage. Sacramento, 4th in 3-pointers made, 3rd in 3-point attempts, but 16th in 3-point percentage. Their efficiency has slipped a little bit. Part of that probably comes from the fact that they're still missing Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter, 2 guys who were shooting relatively well, both shooting over 35% from 3. And both of them were taking a little over 5 3-pointers each per game. So with those 2 guys out, Sacramento offensively almost certainly will have to lean more on De'Aaron Fox. They're going to need him to have a massive game. He's been doing well against Golden State here. He's played in 3 of the 4 games against the Warriors this season and averaged 32.3 points on 50% shooting. So at this point, if Fox doesn't have a good game, the Kings don't really have much of a chance. On the Warriors side of things, they're probably going to do what they've been doing just about all season long, which is dominating the glass. They're 1st in the league in rebounds compared to 12th in the league for the Kings, and they are 5th in second chance points. So a incredibly efficient 3-point shooting team that is able to get second chance points for itself while limiting second chance opportunities for your opponents is, in most cases a recipe for success. So I'm taking the Warriors here. It feels like their momentum is sort of surging, whereas the Kings are standing still or maybe even declining on the back end of the season. So we shall see, but I'm picking Golden State on paper here. That moves us over to the Eastern Conference, though. We'll take a look at the 7 versus 8 matchup there. That is the 76ers versus the Heat. And for this matchup, I am going to be picking the 76ers here. Much like our last matchup, the season series between Philly and Miami was split 2-2, although the 76ers did win the two most recent games of those four. But if you look at the 76ers, question number one, is Joel Embiid 100% here, right? He averaged 34.7 points, 11 rebounds, 5.6 assists on 52.9% shooting from the field. Fantastic numbers. However, he's also only played in 4 games in the last 2 months or so. So if he's at 100%, he's terrifying. He's a monster on the court. If he's not, who knows? But with or without Embiid, Philadelphia has a lot of momentum coming into this game. They've won their last 8 games to end the season. They averaged 119.3 points and shot 40.5% from 3, which were 2 parts of Philly's offense that were, for the most part, kind of hovering at around league average. Over those last 8 games, they really stepped up in terms of that offensive production and efficiency, which is bad news for a Heat team that have sort of hung their hat on defense over offense for a lot of the season. Miami's allowed just 108.4 points per game. That is 3rd in the league. They're 4th in 2-pointers allowed, 3rd in 2-point attempts allowed, and 5th in 3-point percentage against. So their defense has held up well, but Philly is really going to put a strain on that defense, and the Heat offense has not always really been strong or consistent, right? If you take a look at sort of their big 3, their point averages aren't bad, right? Butler and Hero are both averaging 20.8 points per game. Bam Adebayo slightly behind them at 19.3. So they distribute the ball offensively pretty well. I think Rozier's even in there at like 16 points a game. So they have a lot of weapons on offense, but they might need one of those guys specifically to step up and have a game where they sort of take over. I'm not sure that the sort of scoring by committee approach is going to keep up with the offensive production of the 76ers. So not sure who that guy is going to be. Honestly, it could be any of the 3, Butler, Hero, Adebayo, even Rozier, but you know, it needs to be someone. But part of the reason why I'm picking the 76ers here, Philly's at home. Embiid's going to play, whether he's 100% or not, who knows, but he is going to play. I think the 76ers recently improved offense will, for the most part, break through Miami's defense. And if the defense can't establish that sort of slower pace that the offense for Miami likes, they're going to be in trouble. So taking Philadelphia to win that game, Miami to struggle. And that moves us into the final matchup in the East, the 9 versus 10, Bulls versus Hawks. Going with Chicago for this matchup. Don't feel great about it, but that is going to be the choice here. Chicago has won 2 of the 2 of the 3 meetings between these squads this season. They did drop the most recent game in this series, though. The Hawks were able to take that one, and that does give Atlanta maybe a little bit of hope in these circumstances. The Hawks are a very fast-paced, very offensively focused team. They're 5th in the league in points, 6th in 3-pointers made, 7th in 3-point attempts, which is something that they may need to rely upon, right? Because the Bulls do not allow a crazy amount of inside shots. They allow the fewest 2-pointers made and 2-point attempts in the league. As I noted in the Bulls video last week, they are allowing opponents to shoot a very high percentage on those shots, though, 55.8%, but they don't allow as many 2-point field goals. So the Hawks may not really be able to live too much inside, may have to focus on their outside shooting here. But at the end of the day, this matchup is going to really seemingly come down to which team can have their star carry them the hardest. Right? DeMar DeRozan averaged 28.3 points against the Hawks specifically, shot 49.1% from the field in those games. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, DeJounte Murray averaged just 17 points in matches against the Bulls. He did balance out the stat sheet a little bit with 6.3 rebounds and 6.3 assists, but scoring-wise, he was not necessarily taking the game over by himself, let's say, right? And that's part of the reason why I'm taking the Bulls in this matchup. Atlanta still have some injury concerns. Jalen Johnson is maybe not going to be available, not sure. Trae Young is not on the injury report. Apparently he's going to play. Not really sure what's going on there, but he's missed a lot of time recently. And the Hawks have lost their last 6 games to end the regular season. So they don't really have a whole lot of momentum. There's still some big questions about some of the guys on their roster and whether they will play or how effective they will be when they do. So too many question marks. I'm not really feeling good about the Bulls, but I think they can outperform Atlanta for one game on their own home floor and stay alive in the play-in bracket. So that's what I got. Bulls over Hawks, 76ers over the Heat, the Warriors over the Kings, and the Lakers over the Pelicans. So we're going to be finding out if those predictions are true or not pretty soon. At the time of recording, the play-in starts tonight with those first Western Conference matchups. So we shall see. But please feel free to let me know what you think. Do you agree with my picks? Do you think that I'm sort of way off base with some of these matchups? You know, if you think that one or more of these are wrong, you know, I guess why? Who do you think is winning and why here? But other than that, thank you all so much for watching, and I will talk to you later.